Okay, there we go.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to today's recording with beautiful Robin Youngblood and all those who will be joining us. I am Tass, Two Crows Flying of Church of the Earth, and this blessed woman with me is Robin Youngblood, the founder of Church of the Earth. I'd like to invite you all just to drop into your bodies for a second and just release your shoulders. Take a deep in breath and allow yourself to actually begin to understand for yourself what intimacy with the infinite might mean. Take a deep in breath. Ground your feet if you can. And in this moment, I wish to give honor to the unceded traditional territories of the Sioux Nation on the southern coast of Vancouver Island, where I live. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lisa. Thank you. And let us invite the elementals in, for without them, we cannot live. So with hand on your heart, feeling your breath, invite the element of air, filling your lungs with the possibility of all new beginnings, or the place of birth where the sun rises. Fill your life with the breath, the energy of chi. And all the flying ones that have joined us, the great eagle that allows us to see visions and to plan and to see the greater picture. And for fire, for the fire in our hearts, for community, life, love, co-creation, dance. Fire, you were our first technology, and also the place of community where we sat around you and told stories. And today's story time as we share. And we invite the four-legged ones that run the land, the little mouse that sees the tiny details. And the waters of the world, skyfall, waterfall, river, stream, ocean, where we can find release in the West. And all those beings that swim within. And may we bless every glass of water we drink, so that joy may be ours. And to the north, our ancestors, the elders, the trees, the earth beneath our feet, and our collective ancestors as humans, and all our relations. Thank you. Thank you. And again, welcome. Today, I'm speaking about intimacy with the infinite. This topic that was set to us by the 7 days of rest is as vast as the universe. And we as humans can only go down a narrow path of thought that is small and tiny as the tip of a pine needle. In spiritual and philosophical discussions, the infinite might be associated with the divine, the cosmos, universal consciousness, or some form of ultimate reality beyond the limitations of our material world. It implies a direct, personal, and profound experience of this seemingly limitless aspect of existence. And as we know, different religious and even spiritual traditions may use similar expressions to describe the transcendent or mystical experience. I know that here in British Columbia, we have a movement called Cascadia that stretches down to Oregon and up north off the British Columbia coast. And there are some very interesting discussions about how people in this region say they don't have religion. There's none. They mark none on the consensus. But when asked if they're spiritual, there's a massive movement in this region that is wanting to connect to something other, that is not secular, that is not associated with the monotheistic traditions, nor even the Eastern traditions that are found so prevalent in British Columbia. So ultimately, this concept of intimacy with the infinite can vary so widely according to anyone's cultural, religious, or personal beliefs. So actually, there's no real answer or idea that can possibly take us into what this intimacy is. Ultimately, I think it's just paying attention to what is around us. And by this I say paying attention to all our relations, including you, my fellow humans. And honestly, the more I delve into spirituality and wanting to get into higher places, the more I realize I need to actually root, to grow down, to become simpler, to root as a tree rather than waving in the branches above. So my partner, Diane, said to me last night, are these thoughts not just a distraction from what is meaningful? And I can agree, there's so much distraction that disconnects us from what is real and in this world, with us being bombarded by the news, etc., that we can lose disconnection. So really, this connection is the simplicity, I think, of getting up in the morning, going out in the fields, chopping wood, carrying water, tending to the mother that has just given birth, helping the elderly person across the road, and finding a more of a village mentality, and sitting in the sunshine for a while before I go inside to make dinner for my community. So I'm thinking that the title of these few small words that I have to offer you today is simplifying intimacy with the infinite. And that involves creating a much more directed and uncluttered connection with the transcendent or the divine. So perhaps if you're a little lost and want to know how to actually get onto the thought or the experience of connecting with the infinite, I'm going to offer you some simple things that have worked for me. First up is mindfulness and presence. What does that mean? That means just simply being here in the present moment, being able to take a deep breath, just sitting still. And everybody that knows me knows that I always refer to the holy pause. Before we say anything or before we do anything, take that deep in breath and examine what is going on within you. So cultivate an awareness for the present, and who knows, that infinite might reveal itself in that moment. So I'm also asking you to simplify your spiritual practices. We don't need to overwhelm ourselves with elaborate rituals. I personally just go and sit down on my meditation cushion and close my eyes and just allow my thoughts to drift away. So focus on simplicity. You don't need a church. My church is the cathedral of the forest, or the lawn outside, or the deck in the sun, the beach. And that leads me to the next one, which is, to me, the ultimate, the connection with nature. This is where I find the divine. People who have walked with me have seen me stop and have tears because of what the trees are saying, of what their presence is. And they've sat with me on the beach and seen the tears rolling down my face, because this is where I can drop into the simplicity of connecting with the divine that is so vast that my own simple emotions cannot hold it. And it eventually comes out as tears, not as just sadness, as being in absolute awe. So that is actually my top connection. The other thing that people seem to get involved with is dogma, rigid dogmas that complicate the understanding of the infinite. So I'd request that you have a more open and flexible approach to spirituality and focus on the core principles that resonate with you. And in that, silence and stillness. And of course, one of the biggest things that has allowed me to move forward anywhere in life is gratitude. Gratitude for the simple joys in life. We seem to be running after this concept of pursuing happiness, and happiness comes in small glimmers in the day, the sun that's rising, and I see the beautiful clouds crossing the sky here, and the trees that are bare in their beautiful winterness. And I'm grateful for this. And acts of kindness and service to others. Acts of kindness is speaking kindly to others, using that holy pause, dropping into a space of understanding that the person that is standing in front of you has an entire lifetime of things that are behind them and could be clouding them. So simple acts of compassion and generosity can be a pathway to experiencing the infinite through human connections. The interconnectedness of all beings is also a potential for the divine. So, final words from me is the journey towards intimacy with the infinite, which is actually a conundrum to say. It's highly personal. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. And the key is to simplify and focus on what resonates with your heart and your spirit, allowing more intimate and authentic connection with this vast principle called the infinite. Thank you for listening. Robin, what do you have to add, my teacher?
Oh, well, thank you, Tass, for everything that you expressed here. My thought today is, what is intimacy? What is the infinite? Yeah. How do we correlate the two and bring them into the same space together? And I agree, presence is the most important action that leads to intimacy. For me, whenever I'm truly present, whether it's with my cats or an elder or a tree or an animal in the wilderness, when I can truly be present, right here, right now, I can connect in a very deep way. I can hear, if you will, their thoughts. Tree beings have thoughts just as much as a kitty does or an elder does. Yeah. And when I can really sense those and really connect with that, I can feel their experience as well as my own. And they are part of the infinite, which means that I am touching the infinite as well. Yeah. And there is, of course, something that is so great that it can't even really be expressed in language. Yeah. The cosmos, the universe, the divinity, whatever the greater consciousness, whatever you will call it, is so beyond our comprehension that it's difficult to even think of describing it. Yeah. So, what I would like to do right now is invite us and all those who aren't with us at this moment, but maybe later, to take a little journey together. I'd like to invite us all to just relax, take those deep breaths that Tass was talking about, maybe 4 of them. And on the inhale, breathe in the infinite, breathe in intimacy. And on the exhale, let go of anything that isn't that. And then close our eyes and feel into our bodies. Our bodies contain intimacy, they contain the infinite in some way. So allow ourselves to really feel that presence within us. We are all connected. And the saying that people make all the time about, oh, we are all one, and they don't really get what they're talking about. That oneness is within us and among us. So let's allow ourselves to feel that for a minute. As we continue to breathe, in Hawaiian, the word aloha actually means alo is our light and ha is the breath of spirit. So when we greet each other, we're greeting each other through our light and the breath of the infinite. Feel that in our bodies. Sense the light within us, the flame that keeps us alive, that inspires us, that moves us to connect, to co-create, to be in intimacy with each other. When we can sense and see that light within us, I think we can allow it to expand, to go out to meet the light of the universe, the breath of the universe, so that we feel our oneness with it. Almost like a pulse. a heartbeat, breathing in and breathing out. There's a song about that, breathing in and breathing out, spiraling into the center of our being, and then spiraling back out to become one with everything. At this moment, I'm seeing the universe full of stars, and in a vision I once had, every star had an ancestor on it, and they were all waving at all of us. And there's another song that Sweet Honey in the Rock sings about when each child is born, a star rises. We are connected to all the stars and all the star beings. That's infinite, vast, so many galaxies in the universe. And if we really feel that light, really sense that presence, we can feel how connected we are to all of it. And that in itself is a form of intimacy. As I breathe in and breathe out, as we breathe in and breathe out together as one, I can also sense that we can pull the infinite deep within our core, that we can know that intimacy in a way that's beyond expression. I invite us now each to bring that deeply within us, to know that through our light, through our breath, through our heartbeats, we are intimately connected with the infinite. And I invite us as we go through our day to day to recognize that connection, that depth within us, to allow it to be contained within us and at the same time to be expressed throughout the entire universe. And so now coming back into our own presence, carrying that intimacy with the infinite within us. I invite us now to open our eyes and look deeply at each other and enjoy our connection, which is so beautiful. I didn't even know what I was going to say during all of that.
Oh, I know that place.
And amazingly, every time that happens, I feel all of that within me. And I hope you do too.
Thank you, Robin. That was beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you, Diane and Lisa, for being with us today. And I thank all of those who will listen later and hope that you all receive what we've received today.
Blessings. Thank you. So appreciate you, Robin.
I appreciate you
Diane.
too. And Diane and Lisa.
Thank you, Diane and Lisa.
Thank you. Heart to heart.
Totally, totally. Thank you.
So unless you have things that you'd like to speak about, Diane and Lisa, um, we can stay on. We don't need to stay on. It's up to you. Is there anything?
I
Go
don't
ahead.
have anything specific, but I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much and enjoyed both your discussions this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Di.
Lisa?
I just want to say thanks for the invitation and the nudge. And it's lovely to see your faces and nice to meet you, Diane. I've seen all your photos and I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah, back to you. Yes, thank you.
Lovely to see you again, Lisa.
So Lisa's in Cape Town, yeah. And Diane is in Vancouver, BC.
Yes.
So that in itself is connection with the infinite. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Miraculous. And Lisa is a longtime friend of mine and also did Path of the White Wolf with me last year, Robin, as you know.
Mhm.
So we had many hours of deep talks. Yeah.
And more to
Thank
come.
you.
Yeah.
Always.
Transformative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
And of course, Tass is in Souk, BC, and I'm in North Carolina. So we really do have all four directions covered here.
We actually do. The ancestors standing behind us.
One of the wonderful things about doing this with 7 days of rest every year has been connecting with people all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And learning the different ways that we all do express and the different belief systems that different people have. Yeah. And the way that so many of those constructs are being left to allow something new to come in. And I really believe that it's time for that. You mentioned Cascadia, Tass, and I've known Cascadia for many, many years. Yeah. And one of the things that I love about the whole connection between all of the Northwest, yeah, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, etc., is that there's a very strong traditional influence, if you would. And part of that traditional influence says, let go of all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Just let go.
Simplification.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go out and touch a cedar tree. That'll
Totally.
do it all.
Yeah. I went on a walk yesterday. We've got an urban trail close by, and there's a copse of cedar trees. And I just lay against one, just with my full body, and just disappeared. And later I went to the beach and I did the same. And that was my connection. And that peace, there isn't a word for it.
Agreed.
Mm.
Another thing that I really like about the whole Cascadia movement is that it's an expansion of boundaries, if you would.
Yeah.
There have been so many boundaries, states, Canada, the US, South Africa, Ethiopia, Zambia, blah, blah, blah. All those are human constructs. They have nothing to do with actual reality. Yeah. And when we drop those things, something new and wonderful happens.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, these human-made borders have caused so much strife in our world. It happens all
Still
the
do.
time. Yes, it is. At the moment, we are seeing atrocities against our fellow humans and ultimately Mother Earth as well, because the creatures, etc., are also being caught up in the sadness of the machine of war, which really doesn't bring happiness or goodness or resolutions ever.
No, and one of the things that I've become really aware of in the last, well, years for me, but in this last set of conflicts has been how much our ancestors need our healing.
Yeah.
Because they've been oppressed, depressed, the oppressors, they've been so put in so many roles that are all human constructs and have nothing to do with what the world is really about.
Yeah.
Even the folks who are all love and light and there is no difference spiritually and so forth, even they have not quite got it. Yeah, because they're refusing to look at what human constructs are still doing and how they're part of that. And that includes me and you. These are all things that we all need to be really looking at right now and praying for those ancestors, some of whom are hungry ghosts. Yeah, who are actually fueling some of the conflicts that are going on right now from their own pain, their own woundedness.
Yeah.
They really need our prayers.
And the thought that's really been prevalent within me this last while and for many years, as you know, Robin, is, and I think that you agree with this, is that the imbalance between the feminine and the masculine. We've got the shadow masculine that has been ruling for too many centuries now, and that patriarchy is a shadow masculine. And personally, a lot of us have just had enough of that. And, how do we move forward in creating balance between the masculine and feminine in a divine way? That's another discussion on the intimacy with the infinite, because honestly, it's this glorification of violence between one another. And you also have women who are shadow masculine people who are showing up in the workplace with that same hardness that has been ruling the world for too long. We all know those people.
I would almost call them shadow feminine. I've just run into one this last week. The woman is a CEO for a major automobile corporation, earns $29 million per year, and won't do anything about the car that I bought that is their make, whose EV battery died a month ago. Yeah, that's pocket change for her.
Mm. Yeah.
She wanted to speak to me about it. Yeah. And I look at that and I think there's a shadow feminine in there as well as a shadow masculine.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow we have to heal all of that. And that kind of is our job these days. Whether it's through prayer and ceremony or action, which prayer and ceremony is an action. I'm talking about physical standing up for ourselves, which also needs to happen. Yeah. And at the same time, we can't do it from the shadow feminine or the shadow masculine. We have to do it from intimacy with the infinite. If we aren't in that space of connection, we just contribute to what's already happening.
Yeah. And yours and my favorite saying is from Buckminster Fuller, right? You can't change an energy by using the same energy that was used to create it. So violence with violence doesn't work.
No. And you know, his one of those statements that you just mentioned is don't fight with what's happening now. Just make it obsolete by acting in an entirely new way.
Yeah.
Big job. Because it means we have to dismantle all that old stuff in ourselves. Yeah.
No, we know that one.
For years now. Yes. Intimately, I know that one.
All my life.
Yes. And I believe we all have the ability to do that. It takes courage and willingness and connection. Because if we know we have support from our friends, our community, our partners, etc., it becomes so much easier to do. Yeah. We help each other lift each other up.
Yeah. You know, we're a global village and we need to start acting as such. And of course, ask for help. It's another thing that's a barrier to moving forward, is to remember that we have a community and asking for that help, right?
It's certainly one of mine. Pride comes before the fall, right? Well, this woman has had a lot of pride and a lot of, "Oh, I'll do it. I can do it on my own. Thank you. But I can't." Yeah. I can get so far, but I can't get the place where I really want to go by myself. It's impossible. We need each other.
Absolutely. We do.
So this turned into a whole different discussion than we were planning on. But I trust that the infinite is also instructing us.
Oh, yes. Ah, come on, go, go, go.
Ah, yeah. Limit. Let's see. Do I know the word in Coastal Salish? I don't think I know how to say thank you in Coastal Salish. Oh, yes, I do. Ihajka.
Yeah, I took it. So it
Close.
is. Yeah. Thanks
Okay,
again.
family.
Mm,
Are we good for today? Good. I
Thanks
hope
for
to
your
talk to
time.
you all again soon.
Thank
Love
you
you,
all.
Dr. Robin.
Much
Thank
love.
you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you soon.